Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm Sharif Kasimba, Chair Safeguard International. I welcome you on this platform. As a general health and safety practitioner, I do research to ensure that we have a comprehensive plan that will help us to address all matters that arises during the course of the work. I want to just take 5 minutes of your time today. And our emphasis will be on ensuring environmental safety during the course of the work. We have particularly sticked on one point, that is the contaminated sites investigation and cleanup. It might be something new to you, but you have been doing it. Just what you need to do it is to continuously research about it. Have you ever heard about brownfield land? This was kind of land which was used before. For example, we had an industry at a specific area, but due to the urban development, we are seeing ourselves that we must remove the industry within the city. And we have skyscrapers and name it. Have you ever heard about the greenfield land? The land that is being developed, meaning they are free from pollutants, they are free from substances. So at the end of it all, these are two terms that you needed to put in your mind. Brownfield, that is developing the land which was used before. As I gave an example, we may have a petrol station in this area today, and the following day, the urban council development can come up with a unique plan that will say, okay, we can remove it, and we put a structure that is brownfield land. When we talk about green land or greenfield land, this wasn't used. It is a fresh land. You are just going to construct something in a land that doesn't require anything. It is not contaminated or any other thing. So our topic today is coming from the brownfield land, the land which was used before. And today we want to develop it. What are we supposed to do as HSE practitioners and personnel? What are we supposed to advise the management? And the answer is carrying out the contaminated site investigation and cleanup. Now here we go. If it comes to contaminated sites, what does it mean? Contaminated sites, these are sites where hazardous substances have been released into the environment. And of course, they have the potential to pose risks to human factors. And of course, the ecosystem. The common pollutants may include, that is hydrogen carbons, we have petroleum, and we have heavy metals. With all these and industrial chemicals, we need to look at in a broader picture before we carry out our construction. My question is, yes, we had an industry. we had maybe a storage tanker, which was kept inside in the soil. How come that the land is contaminated after? There are very many ways in which land can be contaminated. And the first phase is accidental, due to the linkage from any part. This land got contaminated, and at the end of it all, to confirm that, we needed to do the risk assessment. That we call it the contaminated site risk assessment in 2 phases, the phase 1 and phase 2 assessments, as we shall be able to describe them. So the spillage, accidental spillage, or maybe the land was contaminated as a result of the improper waste disposal, and many others. So the land to be contaminated, there may be things that went wrong during the course of the storage, and many others. So after knowing the contamination and how it happens, and what are we supposed to do after, that is the investigation process. We need to do investigation. Now, investigating the contaminated sites involves very many steps. But the most important thing is initiating the assessment, of which it includes the first phase and the second phase. Now, these are new words, maybe to you, but when you do research, you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. Now, phase 1, we conduct a thorough review of the site history and existing data to identify the potential contamination risks. We just look at the past, the data that we have in that area, what has been kept there, how is it done? Now, there are some situations that is not enough. Now, what can we do? We go for the phase 2. Phase 2, we are going to look at soil itself. We shall do sampling. We shall do sampling of groundwater. We shall do sampling of air collected with an aim of carrying out the analysis to discover, is it true this soil has this? Is it true the soil is contaminated? And many others. So we are going to use sampling and analysis in the phase 2 to analyze the actual soil that has happened. Of course, we can also look at the regulations that are available. For example, if you check US, there is Environmental Protection Agency. This is majorly tells you what are some of the procedures that you are supposed to take during the investigation process and also the cleanup process. It also goes for the same thing when it comes to the point of view and other developed countries. Now, you have done your research, you have confirmed that the land is contaminated. What are some of the remediation strategies that you have? Once assessing the site, the next step is always remediation. Remediation has very many techniques that are available on the market, of which we can use it depending on the nature of the contaminant that we have discovered during the process of the investigation. Now, there are some common remediations that are used. These common remediations are like excavation, where contaminated land is removed and treated out of the site. We have also the bioremediation that talks about using the natural process to break down pollutants. These are very simple to this era of artificial intelligence. Of course, there are technologies and innovations that are constantly evolved in this field. Like drones are used now, being used for site monitoring, providing real-time data that enhances our ability to manage the cleanup activities efficiently, and many others. So from there, you have discovered that the first step, you have known what are the kind of contaminants that you have in your soil. You have done the investigation. You have laid out the remediation strategies. And the next step is now to involve in the stakeholders. This is where you are supposed to involve in the government, to involve in the local authorities and all other people to help you in addressing this matter. Of course, they have the background of those specific areas, what has been there. And at the end of it all, you end up coming up with the soil that is free from pollutants. And once it is free from pollutants, you have successfully managed the risks that might have been transferred to humans who are going to stay in that specific area. So I encourage each and everyone around the world to think about the contaminated sites investigations and the cleanup. Because what we are looking at is to have a safe environment that will not affect any process. Do your activities when they are not affecting our current environment and the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say, welcome to Dubai. If you have any question, please feel free to check on us. We are always available on all platforms. At any convenient time, you can approach on us. We are available because we have the solutions to the problems that are rising now and then. We are not specifically for health and safety. We are looking at quality. We are looking at environment and all other areas. That is why we are unique. As HSE practitioners, we are only few in numbers who can do all this work for an employer. So an employer, if he's is employing someone, he will be able to employ someone like Sharif, who has a diploma, a Bosch diploma in environmental management and Bosch diploma in occupational health and safety. He has the background of engineering. He's doing masters. So at the end of it all, he will do your work beyond your expectations. And that is what you look at, what you are looking at. And at the end of it all, it will save your costs, it will save the revenue and all other expenses. So welcome on board, Habibi. Welcome to Dubai.